Let me tell you a joke. What's a bartender's favorite exercise?
Lifting spritz.
You know that moment when someone's clutching a plastic cup like it's the holy grail of microphones, suddenly unleashing their whole philosophy of life on a poor stranger trapped in the bathroom line? It's like they've just discovered enlightenment between sips of mystery punch. And there you are, standing awkwardly, thinking, wow, this guy's got more confidence than a toddler with a permanent marker, yet he can't even locate his own jacket in a room full of hooks. That is drunkenness. Not just being silly. It is your brain on ethanol doing improv. It is your human body running a social experiment it did not consent to. And if you watch closely, drunk people are weirdly consistent, like you can almost predict their entire night from the first 10 minutes. Because alcohol does not create a personality out of thin air. It shifts the settings. It turns certain knobs in the brain. It makes some parts loud, it makes other parts quiet. And the hidden psychology is that the type you become is usually the type you were rehearsing all week. You just did not notice. One type is the cheerful accelerator. This is the person who takes a sip and immediately acts like the vibe has been approved by NASA. They are not sloppy yet. They are just faster, laughing faster, talking faster, loving everyone faster. Their phone comes out. Loving everyone faster. Their Instagram story begins. Their social media personality arrives like it got a text that said, "We're needed." The science of drunkenness here is not mysterious. Ethanol hits the brain and starts changing neurotransmitters. You get more of that calming brake system, the GABA effects, and less of the maybe do not signal like glutamate. Dopamine starts rising in reward pathways. Endorphins show up like tiny internal hype men, so the cheerful accelerator feels warm, safe, slightly invincible. They will say things like, "I just love people," and for a moment they mean it. But watch what they do with that feeling. They become a little life coach, not a real one, the party version. They start saying growth mindset and success mindset, like they are hosting the Mindset Mentor podcast from the kitchen. They will tell you about motivation. They will talk about personal growth. They will say positive thinking with their whole chest while holding a drink that is basically fermented chaos. And it is not advice exactly. It is more like they are trying to convince themselves in real time, like the alcohol loosened the part of them that wants to believe life is simple. Drink, smile, manifest, repeat. Then there is the confession booth drinker. This one does not get louder. They get more honest, or at least it sounds like honesty. They pull you aside, and suddenly you are in a very intense documentary about their childhood. They say things like, "Can I tell you something?" And your soul leaves your body because you know you are about to receive law. They will talk about self-love and self-care like they are reading captions off a pastel infographic. They will mention therapy language. They will say boundaries. They will talk about their ex. They will talk about how they are working on self-improvement, self-development, personal development. And you are just nodding like, "Yes, I also have a complicated inner world." Please do not cry into my sleeves. What is happening is that alcohol lowers inhibition. It dampens the brain's control center, especially in the prefrontal cortex. The part that normally says, "Maybe keep that private," is suddenly on a smoke break. So the feelings come out. Not always the truest feelings, just the loudest ones in that moment. And here is a small twist inside that. People assume this type is finally being real, like alcohol is a truth serum. But sometimes it is just state-dependent emotion. Alcohol changes what your brain can access. It changes memory retrieval. It changes what feels urgent, so the confession might be true. Or it might be tonight's mood wearing a dramatic costume. If you like this kind of pattern spotting, and you like psychology that feels like someone quietly narrating your habits from across the room, then this hits your vibe.
Give me that thumbs up if you're feeling the light. Subscribe to the channel, let the neon shine bright. Drop a comment below, join the Street King life tonight.
If you're the kind of person who listens to podcasts about mindset motivation and then wonders why you still text your ex, welcome. You are among your people. Then there is the competent drunk. This one is fascinating. They have 2 alcoholic drinks, and somehow become more organized. They are pouring water for other people. They are directing traffic to the Uber. They are checking if someone ate. They are acting like the manager of a small chaotic business. You will hear them say things like high performance habits and success habits, but in the most practical way, like, okay, you need carbs. They are basically an inspirational video but with eyelashes slightly crooked. This type usually has anxiety when sober, not obvious anxiety, but a steady internal hum. Alcohol turns down that hum by changing neurotransmitters and reducing self-monitoring, so they feel relief. And when they feel relief, their natural competence finally has room to breathe. They become the version of themselves that does not feel like they are failing at being a person. And the weird part is, everyone loves them, because they are helpful, they are stable, they make the night feel safe, which is also why they often drink again the next time, not because they want to spiral, but because they want that quiet in their head. That is where addiction can quietly start, not with chaos, but with relief. Then there is the angry drunk, and yes, we have to talk about them. This is the person who gets disrespected by a chair. Someone bumps into them and suddenly it is a whole thing. Their tone changes, their face changes. The night gets smaller around them. People like to act like anger appears out of nowhere. But alcohol does not invent anger. It removes the cover. It reduces impulse control. It narrows attention. It makes you interpret neutral stuff as personal. In the brain, the amygdala and threat systems can get more reactive while the brake pedal gets weaker. So if you already carry tension, alcohol can turn it into a storyline. This is also where biology shows up in a less cute way. Your blood alcohol content, your blood alcohol level matters, not in a moral sense, in a chemistry sense. As back rises, reaction time drops, judgment drops, emotional regulation drops. You get more confident and less capable at the same time, which is honestly a dangerous combination for someone who already thinks the world is out to get them. And metabolism changes the pace. Your liver breaks down ethanol using enzymes like ADH and ALDH, aldehyde dehydrogenase. Some people have genetics that make this process slower or more unpleasant. That is why some people flush. That is why some people feel sick fast. It is not just tolerance. It is enzymes, biology, and the human body doing paperwork in the background. Then there is the disappearing drunk. This one does not cause scenes. They fade. They get quiet. They sit on the edge of the group like someone turned their volume down. They are still there, but they are elsewhere. Sometimes they are overwhelmed. Sometimes alcohol does not feel like freedom for them. It feels like their brain losing its grip. Their thoughts get foggy. Their senses get too loud. They start watching instead of participating. And they might seem chill, but inside they are doing math. Like, how do I get through the next hour without anyone noticing I am not okay? This is also where you see how different people's brains respond to alcoholic drinks. For some, dopamine and endorphins feel like a warm wave. For others, it feels like dissociation. The same chemical, different system, different history, different genetics, different as baseline anxiety, different expectations. And if you have ever wondered why one person becomes a golden retriever and another becomes a haunted Victorian child, that is part of it. Not just personality. A whole internal chemistry set. Then there is the "this is the real me" drunk. And this is the twist that messes with people. They will look you dead in the eyes and say, "I am just being honest." They will say, "I say what I mean when I drink." And everyone around them nods like, yes, alcohol reveals truth. But alcohol does not reveal truth. It reveals whatever is easiest to say when your filter is offline. It reveals impulses. It reveals cravings. It reveals unfinished emotional sentences. It reveals the part of you that wants to be seen right now. That is not always the deepest part. Sometimes it is the most adolescent part. Sometimes it is the most scared part. Sometimes it is just the part that likes attention. And that is why some drunk truth feels wildly confusing the next day. You wake up and think, why did I tell them that? Or why did I flirt with that person? Or why did I suddenly decide I was going to start a business, move to Austin, and become a mindset mentor? Because it felt true inside that specific brain state. Not necessarily inside your normal one. This is also why people underestimate how much context shapes behavior. Drunkenness is not just alcohol in your blood. It is alcohol plus setting, plus expectations, plus who is watching, plus what you think alcohol lets you do. It is the science of drunkenness mixed with the theater of being a person. And yeah, some people use alcohol as an excuse, not always consciously, but it becomes a social loophole. Say the risky thing. Blame the ethanol, push a boundary, call it just drunk, in a weird way that is also self-help. Just the messiest possible version. A shortcut to expression without owning it. Of course, there is a darker layer here too. For some people, alcohol is not a weekend vibe. It is a pattern. It is a drinking disorder. It is the brain learning that ethanol equals relief, equals reward, equals dopamine, equals I can finally feel normal. The reward system does not care about your intentions. It cares about reinforcement. Do it again. Feel better again. That is how addiction can feel like it is choosing you. Even when you swear you are in control. And then the next day, everyone becomes an amateur scientist. They talk about hydration. They talk about electrolytes. They talk about the liver like it is a neglected employee. They joke about their BAC like it is a fun stat. But the emotional hangover is often the real story. The brain recalibrates. Neurotransmitters swing back. Dopamine drops. Anxiety can spike. And suddenly last night's confidence looks suspiciously like a loan with interest. And maybe that is the strangest part. Alcohol can make you feel like you found yourself. And then it makes you feel like you lost yourself in the same 12 hours. So when you think about drunk people, maybe do not just think fun or mess. Think patterns. Think roles. Think which version of you shows up when the filter comes off. Think about who gets louder, who gets softer, and who becomes a ghost at the party. And yeah, think about what you assume it means. If someone is sweet when they drink, do you call that their real personality? If someone is cruel when they drink, do you call that their real personality? If someone is vulnerable, do you treat it like truth? If someone is confident, do you treat it like power? Or is it all just a brain, a body, some enzymes, a liver doing its best, and a social setting that gives certain feelings permission to speak? So, which one were you? The accelerator, the confessional,
Can I tell you something?
the competent manager, the angry spark, the disappearing act, the real me narrator. And when you picture yourself in that state, what do you seem to want most? Attention, relief, control, connection, forgetting. And if alcohol is not revealing a secret identity, what is it revealing that you've been holding back while sober?